It's always a great pleasure to come your way with business on Business Live. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafe, and we are transmitting live right here on our channel, Joy News. In this edition, Bank of Ghana finally introduces initiative to mitigate farmers' constraints in accessing funds for the development of agriculture. Trade and Industry Minister Dr. Ekos Piogabra dismisses allegations by local cement manufacturers that cement importers are engaging in unfair trade practices at the expense of the economy. And Managing Director of GOIL and 2015 Marketing Man of the Year advocates strict measures to reserve petroleum retail business for local investors only. These are the headlines. You can stay interactive with us by tweeting your comments, suggestions, and questions at Joy Business GH handle. And of course, on Facebook, we are on Joy Business. For more news on business, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Let's take a short break. The details come up shortly.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Now, fertilizer imports from abroad into Ghana and West Africa as a whole is expected to drop drastically by the third quarter of next year. This is because Dangote Fertilizer Limited is constructing a $2 billion fertilizer plant expected to start production from next year. The plant has the capacity to process over 3 million tons of fertilizer annually and making it the largest single fertilizer complex in the world. The plant, which covers 500 hectares of land, is aimed not only at meeting the supply needs of farmers across the sub-region, but also to reduce their costs. Speaking with Joy Business at the construction site in Lekki, Lagos State of Nigeria, General Manager of Dangote Fertilizer Limited, Anurag Jaiswal, said the economic impact on the sub-region cannot be overemphasized.
This will be, as I told you, is going to be one of the largest single capacity complex coming up at a single time in the world. Okay, such a huge capacity. Okay, we will be producing total 8,000 tons of urea per day. Okay, as I told you, we will be having 2 trains of ammonia, 2 trains of urea. Each train of urea will be producing 4,000 tons. Okay, so into 2, 8,000 tons. In a year, it will be 3 million tons. Okay, so this is a huge capacity and one of the single largest, you can say, the single unit plant. Okay, that's such a 4,000 tons of capacity. Actually, and the freight cost also. That's what I'm telling you. If you are importing from Gulf and importing from Nigeria, it will be cheaper from Nigeria.
So what really is the impact on the economy that you are looking for?
There will be huge impact now because we will be saving a lot of foreign exchange. Now, most of the fertilizer is imported in Nigeria. Now it is coming up, Indorama is covered, and now we are setting up a huge plant. The requirement is more, is a huge. Okay, so when we will be stop importing the fertilizer, the foreign exchange savings will be huge for the country.
Now, Trade and Industry Minister Dr. Ekos Piogabra has dismissed allegations cement importers are engaging in unfair trade practices at the expense of the local economy. Local cement manufacturers made the allegations at a press conference a couple of days ago where they called on government for immediate intervention. There's more in this report.
The local cement manufacturers, including Gassam and Diamond Cement, have accused Dangote Cement of unfairly competing in the industry with its importation. The Nigerian company has, however, rejected accusations, insisting its imports have rather inured to the benefit of consumers by way of pricing. Dr. Ekos Piogabra also explains to Joy Business the local producers have no case.
Unless there have been evidence to indicate that something wrong has been done, and if the minister has broken any laws, there are numerous channels for redressing them rather than press conferences where they just throw a lot of dust and air and express frustration. We are interested in protecting local industries. we are promoting a Made in Ghana campaign. But the fact that we want Ghanaians to drink beer has not made us ban beer imports. The fact that we want Ghanaians to wear Made in Ghana clothes has not made us ban clothes imports. So I'm not sure why only in the case of cement people should be thinking about that banning of it or revoking licenses, etc. The tax reliefs are not from Ghana, they are from their own country. They get an export incentive, which Ghana could also put in place.
The local producers also argued the cement import license issued Korean firm Fujian Company violates the recently passed law to regulate the importation of substandard cement and wants it revoked. But Dr. Spio Gabriel has ruled this out, describing the position as flawed.
Anybody who has the time should consult the legislative instrument, the LI. You'll find that there's a section that deals with the monitoring committee and there's a section that deals with the licensing process. In the licensing process, there's not a single mention of the role of the monitoring committee to play any role whatsoever. But if they wanted a banning process, they should have argued in Parliament, why should I revoke a license that has already been given out? All these companies were already importing cement before the cement regulation came out. The cement regulation was not intended to ban, B-A-N, the importation of cement. It was supposed to regulate. In other words, to preferably reduce the total quantities of cement imported into the country each year. Until the regulation, according to the cement manufacturers themselves, and also figures from the customs, annual cement imports could be in the region of 1 million to 2 million in a year. So if you give a company only 500,000 bags of cement to import, that's a small fraction of the total amount of cement imported into the country. And the minister under the legislation is the only authority, sole authority required to approve the licenses for imports.
In August, government passed a law to regulate the importation of substandard cement as part of moves to grow the local cement manufacturing industry. The law bans the bagging of cement not produced in the country and makes illegal importation of cement from non-ECOWAS countries without licenses.
Small and medium-scale enterprises and business entrepreneurs have been advised to develop a successive strategic plan that can sustain the business for a while without their full participation as business owners. This came up during a dialogue session at the 3rd Vodafone African Business SME Summit held in Accra under the theme Entrepreneurship Becoming a Ready Business.
Entrepreneurship and SME growth took the center stage at this year's Vodafone African SME Summit. This is because, according to the organizers, the economy of Africa depends on entrepreneurship and small and medium-scale enterprises. At a panel discussion, Executive Director of the China-Europe International Business School, Professor Matthew Chamini, noted that African businesses can be successful through developing strategic plans that can be followed by the next generation.
What we don't want to do is also to end up what we call micromanaging, because you can't do everything. So when you delegate, you have to find a way of actually supervising. But then the question is, how do you do this? So which means that you need to build appropriate structures and processes. And this is usually what we advise. As I said earlier on in my presentation, we have a women entrepreneurship program, which the objective is actually to help these women scale up their businesses. And they are having huge challenges in terms of having the right people, delegating, and having these people deliver. And I don't know whether it's a cultural issue, because I thought it's a Ghanaian problem, but when you go to Nigeria, it's the same thing, that when you delegate and you are not there, okay, very often people don't deliver. And so you realize that even though you delegate in theory, in practice, you have to continuously monitor.
On his part, chairman of the Kitec Group Limited and Tang Palace Hotel, Tang Hong, noted business leaders don't have to participate in every aspect of company's operation. He stressed the need for the youth to take up the challenge of initiating ideas that can help grow businesses.
You know, for instance, my hotel, I have HR, human resource manager, and then my main business at Kitec, I have a lot of managers there. They can employ. Okay. They can employ what they want. You know, if we find any problem, we just lay them off. You know. But I stay here 21 years. I have a lot of very important Ghanaians who play major roles in my company. You there bring any idea, do something for the company, I just approve. I don't need to think plenty. You think much, check this, check that, just waste time.
So trust plays a critical role in your operations.
You can't do all the job by yourself. You know, I think as a CEO, you must keep your mind fresh every day. You have to think something for the future. You have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, so you keep on growing.
This year's summit ends on 15th October.
The Cybercrime Unit of the Police Service has issued end of October deadline to all organizations involved in the collection of personal data from Ghanaians under the Data Protection Act. Already, more than 60 company executives have been issued with cautions for failing to register under the new law. Head of the Data Protection Commission, Teki Akwete Falconer, has been speaking to Joy News and says even though the banking sector has been the most responsive, several financial institutions are still in breach and could face prosecution after the deadline.
When the law was passed, as part of the transitional provisions, the law itself gave existing entities that are data controllers 3 months, within which to comply with the requirement to register. And we started the registration process sometime in May 2015, and we kept extending after 3 months, because as a commission, we recognize the need for raising more awareness, amongst those who needed to register. And this process ended sometime in May. And from May 2016 to date, we've just added a little over 200. I must say that the banks have been one of those that have been very responsive to the call to register. So we've had several banks registered, and there are still a number of financial institutions that have not complied. But what we started doing about a couple of months ago was to work, because when it comes to enforcement of these laws, which we are mandated by law to do, we have to work with a number of agencies. So we are working closely with the Attorney General and the police, and the police have already started inviting a number of companies. Usually, I think they're doing their work. We provide the list, and then we run the list against those that we currently have in our register. And I think they invite them, they've been inviting them actually to the police station to find out why they haven't registered.
What can the police possibly do in enforcing this law?
Well, the penalty for not registering is a criminal one, which means that we have to go to court and prosecute those individuals. And so we are working with the police to start the investigation. Before you arrive at prosecution, then there are a number of processes that the police goes through. So we have reported to the police that these people are infringing on this particular law, the section of this law, and they've started is part of the criminal process, so they normally invite you, give you a self-recognizance bail.
Now, players in the securities industry have highlighted public education as crucial in growing the capital market to the benefits of the economy. This came up at the 2016 Capital Market Investment Forum under the theme Unleashing the Potential of the Capital Markets in Ghana. The event was organized by the Ghana Securities Industry Association as part of the 2016 Capital Market Week celebrations. Kukwa Apia reports.
The capital market is the part of a financial system involving raising of capital by dealing in stocks or shares, bonds, and other long-term investments. Notwithstanding the benefits of capital market investment to individuals, businesses, and the economy as a whole, majority of Ghanaians hardly patronize it. CEO of Frontline Capital Advisors, Clifford Impare, blamed this on the lack of education in an interview with Joy Business at the sidelines of the 2016 Capital Market Investment Forum.
The difficulties of investing in Ghana is the fact that everybody looks at investing on a short-term basis. And what we realize is that most people look at investments like they're putting money at the bank as opposed to having money that is going to be used for a long-term purpose. Education, maybe accumulating money for a purchase. And so we had to convince them that the packages they are getting, and some of those packages were substantial, some were as high as $500,000, maybe $1 million, they needed to put it in a safe place where they will look at it as a long-term investment, particularly because they were also being laid off. They needed to have a pool of capital that preserved the principal. And then if they wanted to spend the interest on the principal, they could do that so that their livelihood could continue. So that's what I'm talking about, education. People need to know the difference between investing and perhaps putting your money in a current account at the bank. And so they can then use that to build wealth, because investing is all about building wealth.
The 2016 Capital Markets Investment Forum focused largely on the role of government's fiscal policy in the development of the capital markets to promote financial inclusion. The director of the Financial Sector Division of the Ministry of Finance, Magdalene Apinting, said they are working to push this agenda.
We are looking at a full-blown financial inclusion strategy that would look at the various pillars that we have identified. Some of the pillars include providing stability in the financial system. It looks at financial literacy. As you realize, we've spoken a lot about letting everybody know what capital markets are about. That is educating the public. This will feature very well in our financial inclusion strategy.
The 2016 Capital Markets Investment Forum was organized by the Ghana Securities Industry Association, a self-regulatory and non-profit organization comprising firms on the capital markets regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC.
So live on Business Live, we take a short break. We'll be right back.
Business Live today was brought to you by
Welcome back. Now, Managing Director of Goyle Limited, Patrick Akwame Akoli, is advocating for strict measures that will prevent foreign investors from participating in retail of petroleum products in the country. According to Patrick Akoli, who won the Marketing Man of the Year at the 27th CIMG National Marketing Performance Awards in Accra, the retail market should remain a preserve of local investors to develop it and help expand the country's economy. He spoke to Joy Business in an exclusive interview following he being adjudged as the Marketing Man of the Year. That's on Interview of the Day.
Interview of the Day is brought to you by
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Most people should use their purchasing power to support local companies. That's how others did it. If you talk of Korea, Malaysia, even European countries, you can't go there and say you are going to sell fuel in Europe. Going to sell fuel in Europe. Where? America. But why is it happening here? That we cannot retail fuel in our own country. If you don't have the big monies to do the exploration activities, you cannot even retail in 2016.
What does winning the Marketing Man of the Year award mean to you?
You're in a very competitive environment. And then if you're a marketing company, you have won the Marketing Man of the Year. I think that's the ultimate. Coming from a credible entity like Third Ministry of Marketing Ghana. I'm very happy.
What do you think you did right that gave you this?
I must say we put in a lot of hard work. I have a team, a very strong team, dedicated, who just want to prove a point that companies with public interest or state interest can also do well, given the right opportunity and and open new ground.
So after this, what next? After winning this award,
I don't think I always tell people that this is just the beginning of the success story, because the downstream industry is expanding, and unfortunately the concentration now is just on the retail side. But we need to expand. You know, I was happy when yesterday I heard in the news that the president has directed that the taxes on the MGO, but we call it marine gas oil, should be slashed. We have the aviation industry, we have the lubricants industry, and then we think it is time to move to the sub-region, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, where a lot of mining activities are now taking place after the Ebola scare, because these are countries that are coming out of war. So we have already sent scouts there to look at the terrain and see how we can go and play the game over there. So Ghana has a future because of the things that we are doing. We are putting out facilities at Takoradi to start serious banking business. Already we do a lot. We sell MGO to BNI.
What is MGO? Marine gas oil.
Marine gas oil. Okay. It's simply marine gas oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you involved in that business as well? Because many people know Goes to be.
In Ghana, we are the leading company as far as banking business is concerned.
What's your market share?
The market share itself in Ghana, as I told you, is so limited. But out of that limited, we hold about close to 40%.
Many thanks for keeping company with me on the program Business Live, and thanks for your attention as well. You can always tweet at Joy Business GH and on Facebook, Joy Business. For more business news, don't hesitate to log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abwaji. We make a date again, same time tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. Up next is Focus on Africa. Good evening.